Now, no disrespect to the sheepdog community, but I am not a sheepdog. I am a ram.
Where them kicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying? Cecil.
In case you don't know what a sheepdog is, think of the world like this. You have your regular people who go about their day. Bad, the sheep, they just follow along. They don't defend themselves. They're sheep. And the sheep get preyed upon by the wolves, who are the evil people. And then, of course, I guess you have some wolves in sheep's clothing out there. So you have your sheep and you have your wolves. Who protects the sheep? The sheepdog. The sheepdog is the person who is not a wolf, but they may not have an official capacity, but they go to fight the wolf. They volunteer to fight the wolf. That's what a sheepdog does. Now, then there's a community around it, and I've read about them. And I say good for you, good for them. But I am not a sheepdog, okay? I'm going to make a few changes to that paradigm because I really don't necessarily think that if you really look at that paradigm, sheepdogs aren't really sheepdogs either. And I'll explain why. First, we'll use the regular convention. In terms of the regular convention, you have your wolves and you have your sheep and you have sheepdogs, okay? I am none of those things. In that context, I would be a ram. A ram, or you could say goats, but a ram to me is a male sheep. It is a sheep with horns. I go about my daily business. I follow the rules as best I can. I go to work. I go to work. I come home. But if you try to rob me, I'm going to headbutt you and gouge your eyes out. If you're a wolf, I am. If you're another sheep that might try to start something, I might nip at you a little bit, but I'm not going to come at you with my horns. Now, I might come at another ram. If it's two rams, then we can butt heads all day because we both rams. Then we butt heads, that's fine. We butt heads and the bigger ram wins and that's it. We're not really trying to kill each other like that. We're trying to butt heads until somebody knocks their hoof off or their horns go flying. But, we still cool after that. We just butted heads and who won, who lost. We're not trying to really go at another ram, though, like we would go at a wolf. So a lot of times, the people in the sheepdog community, from my understanding, they have concealed carry. They'll carry a gun. Now, I've said in several other videos, right? I'm not against concealed carry. I would love to be able to conceal carry. I'm just of the opinion that the state of Maryland really doesn't want me to have a permit. Not because there's anything wrong with me individually, or that I couldn't apply, I couldn't qualify. I'm sure if I applied, I would get it. So there's nothing in my background. It's just that when you look at all the rules, it's like, you really don't want me to have this gun because I can't take it hardly any place I would need it, where I normally am. At home, I can already have it at home and defend my castle. So that's a non-issue right there. If I'm driving back and forth, I have to have the concealed carry permit with me and all that stuff. And some people say you have to identify yourself if you're stopped by cops and all like that. So that seems like a hassle. I can't take it to school. Like if I got to pick my kids up from high school or college, I'm not supposed to bring it on those premises. If I did take it to work, where I work, secure buildings, I can't take a gun in there. If I do, I'm going to have to spend time checking it in. That could end up making me like 30 minutes late for work if I got to go through all that. So I don't want to have to get up early to travel so I can make sure. And it's not part of my job description. You don't need a gun to test software. So why have it? It's not really doing me any good at this point. Where I know it would do me good is if I was an older retired man, older than I am, because before I am losing my hair. Once I'm retired or something like that, I'll probably apply for it and I'll get it. And it wouldn't be as much as a hassle. And they ask me, why do you have it, sir? It's like, dude, I'm like 70. Why do you think I got a gun? Oh, okay, he's 70. People want to call me a racist for saying stuff, what I'm about to say. Like, I'm a big black man. They see a big black man with a gun. They're already scared of me anyway because I'm a big black man. And then I have a gun on top of that. That's just barring trouble that I don't want. Now, you can fight the power. Go for it. You can fight the power. I will root you on. But right now, I'm just not going to carry. And since you can avoid a lot of stuff anyway, there's really no need for me to carry. And a lot of the situations where I would imagine actually having to pull out the gun, they're probably close enough for me to use my empty hand techniques anyway. And if I had a gun and they got to drop on me with their gun and they got into my face, I can't pull my gun out fast enough. I would still have to do an empty hand disarm and then pull out my gun and detain them. So for me individually, at this point in time, I feel like it's more trouble than it's worth. Until the culture changes, then fine, I can carry. But back to the whole sheepdog thing. So by the conventional standards, I am not a sheepdog, I will be a ram. But now I'm going to change that. See, I feel like the people who call themselves sheepdogs are not really sheepdogs. If you want to look at the whole paradigm of the flock, your criminals are wolves. The true sheepdogs are people who are paid to protect us, law enforcement, military, security. Because that is their job. It is the job of a sheepdog, if you look at a flock. It is the job of a sheepdog to protect the sheep. And they have the authority to do that. So they are actually sheepdogs. The people who are calling themselves sheepdogs, if you want to use that metaphor, to me, they are not really sheepdogs. Sheepdogs are people who are authorized by the state or government to carry that weapon to fight against the wolves. And the rest of us are in the flock. So, in that paradigm, the people who call themselves sheepdogs would also be rams. It would be rams like me. So, but there is a difference between me and the people who call themselves sheepdogs. So I guess if you still want to call them sheepdogs, but they're not though. If in the paradigm that I'm proposing, they're not sheepdogs. They are actually more aggressive rams than me. Because I typically do not go out of my way to confront criminals and to stop fights and to defend people. I have. Okay, I have. But I typically do not because it typically doesn't happen. I mean, and it evolved into a thing where, when someone actually needed my help, they asked me for it. And a lot of times, all I had to do was just be there. Just me being there has stopped a woman from being kidnapped for somebody that was following her. Just me being there has stopped people from hitting other people just by me being there. I didn't really have to do anything. The only time I really had to get physical is when someone actually came at me. And by me being a ram, it was a sheep that thought it had horns. And when sheep come at me to think they have horns, because I'm not a loud ram, maybe you know what you might could call me? You could probably call me, if I'm saying the predators are wolves, the cops and military people are actually the sheepdogs, and the people who call themselves sheepdogs are actually rams, I am probably a ram in sheep's clothing. So when people came at me, they thought that I didn't have horns, or they thought that they had horns. And then they find out, oh my gosh, that this guy, he can do something. Ooh, I'm sorry. And I didn't hurt him. I haven't had to really hurt anybody since I was a teenager. I just use my stuff defensively, basically like the my favorite metaphor. I know it's an old movie, Tommy, if you ever watched it, and not Sotomayor, my friend Tommy. Karashitaka Hidden Dragon, where the less skilled girl goes after the master, and he's like, you got a lot to learn. It's been situations like that. So I guess you could say I would be a ram in sheep's clothing. So that's the paradigm I propose. And the reason why I even thought about this is because Andrew Bronca had a video where his video for the week of, no, it's broadcast today. Today is March 21st, 2018. If you can find his video, March 21st, 2018, where he's talking about his case of the week in the sheepdog community. Basically, in a nutshell, somebody picked a fight with a guy who was mentally ill so he could shoot the mentally ill guy because he didn't like the way the mentally ill guy had acted at one point. Now, this is something I tell people. This is something I picked up on by, I guess you could say by spirit. There are people who will start things with you so they can have an excuse to shoot you. Let me say this again. There are people who will start things with you so they will have an excuse to shoot you. Andrew Bronca in his video was saying that the person who did the shooting in his case of the week was someone that had like a hero type fantasy. Someone who thought that he was a sheepdog, because I mean, it's not a real sheepdog. A real sheepdog or a real ram in sheep's clothing would not go looking for trouble. But this was someone who thought they were sheepdogging, ended up getting caught up in his feelings because the mentally ill guy embarrassed him. And he couldn't control the mentally ill guy. So he started a fight so he would have an excuse to pull out his gun and shoot him. In the current paradigm that everybody knows about, we're talking about sheepdogs, wolves, and sheep. I'm not a sheepdog. I'm a sheep with horns. I'm a ram. Okay? But in the paradigm that I propose, I think the sheepdogs are rams too. And in that case, I would be a ram in sheep's clothing. But regardless, I'm not going to be mad at you if you want a sheepdog. Just do it legally and don't do like that guy in Andrew Bronca's case of the week, because that was nothing but pure evil. And that man was sent to jail, and rightfully so. And if you were more curious about what I was talking about, go check out that Law Self-Defense broadcast. I don't have a link to it here. Just do some Googling. You can find it. Or go to his channel. He can tell you so. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people who like to talk about the martial arts of self-defense. Help me grow this channel. And peace. And thank you for your time.